With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wrestling Art with Chris Things.
Ray! Do the hammerlock! I do the hammerlock! Ray! Do the hammerlock, you turkey necks! Yeah, do the hammerlock! I do the hammerlock!
Everybody's doing it. Hello friends. Welcome to Wrestling Art with Chris Things. I am Chris Things Brian, your host, your pal, your wrestling art dude. And we're back for a match of the week edition of the show. We're getting caught up. We've got 4 that we're going to tackle today, 4 that I think are quite a magical combination of matches. So this being my thing where I've picked my favourite match that I happen to watch that week. I've made an art illustration of said match that I've posted to Chris Things on Instagram, and as well as christhings.com.au, and then we talk about it on the show. We chop it up and go a little bit more in depth on the match, sometimes talk a little bit about the illustration too. And today I'm going to be joined by my dear pal Richard of Video Plant from across the pond. I'm always stoked when I get to chat with Richard, and these matches in particular I'm very excited to speak to him about. So Richard will be joining us in just a little bit, but before then we have a little opening what's going on in the world of Chris Things segment, a little personal journal, I like to think of it as, into the world of a full-time wrestling artist, a traveling carny. It is what it is. I dig it though. I feel very lucky that I get to do this thing. This week has ended up being a bit of a shortened one, because I'm about to get back on the road for the next event as a traveling carny. As I mentioned, and I'm heading to Melbourne, beautiful Melbourne, Collingwood Town Hall. We've got Lucha Fantastica, very stoked to be doing that with Signor Fantastico and his wonderful show. This being a special circus-themed show, which I wasn't quite sure what that was going to be. I got a bit of a tip-off from the Sydney show I did a couple of weeks back, and I am, just between you and me, I am very enthused about what's planned for Melbourne. I hear we're even going to have the audio band accompaniment of the Tarantinos, which for any of y'all who know how much of a Quentin Tarantino fan I am, I'm probably pretty excited about that. So I've actually caught the Tarantinos once or twice before. So good. So I'm very excited about that. And yeah, the circus thing is kind of like a cabaret kind of experience. A bit of a variety show, which I really love within the presentation of professional wrestling. You know, you got the clown, you got the wrestling, you got a magic show, you got whatever, you know, all of the magical, weird variety things all coming together, and I think that's a great thing. And then you got little old Chris in the corner hawking his art wares. So if you do come to Lucha Fantastica in Melbourne, please come on by the table, have a look at my latest prints and whatnot that I have on hand. I don't know exactly what I'll have, but I'm sure I'll have some fun stuff. And most importantly, come over for a chat. I really dig that part of things. So, yeah, right now I'm kind of gearing up for this trip. I have to leave a little bit earlier than usual because we've got the Ekka on Wednesday. So for those of you all that may not be aware, the Ekka is kind of like our county fair, I guess, where it's everyone in Australia gets the day off to go to this fair, or maybe Brisbane, I don't know. I think we have different dates, different ones. Yeah, so I was feeling a little bit, funny about taking the day off to do this thing, to go with, my partner and as well as her sister and her husband, and their little kid Eddie, and I was a little bit like, man, is this the right thing to take a day off work, to sacrifice a day of work to do this thing? And I had to kind of like slap myself back to reality. Like I get really in my head sometimes about when I'm not like working, when I'm not doing all the things. Like I always have like so many things for this art practice where I'm like, oh, I need to do this, oh man, I didn't get to that last week, I need to get that, all that kind of stuff. I get really in my head about it. So the idea of like taking a day off work, I was a little bit like, oh, can I do this? And then I had to remind myself, man, like how many weekends of the year am I out of town? Am I, like not there for a weekend together, like with my partner, Kaylin, doing this family stuff, like I take a lot out of that to, be doing this traveling art gig. Whether I'm in Sydney or Brisbane or Melbourne or wherever it is, there's a lot of weekends where I'm not at home, and a lot of things that I miss as a result of doing that. So I've got to remind myself, hey, dude, like the amount that you're doing of these weekends away, the least I could do is to, sacrifice one Wednesday for us to go to the bloody Ekka together and have a nice family day. So that was my little thing, and I guess there's some little bit of advice to other people if you're in this boat. It's just so important. As much as my work can be the passion of our lives, like this one is for me for sure. Like you got to have that balance for your life and be getting the other things time as well. Otherwise, it's going to be a very lonely existence. So, yeah, I'd like to publicly apologize to my partner, Kaylin, for the hot minute where I was like, oh, I don't think I can swing that, because that was quite selfish. But, yeah, man, like, I am actually looking forward to that, but I'm also just trying to get all the work things done around it. And then I travelled down to Melbourne on Thursday because the flights on Friday were very expensive. And yeah, I'm actually looking forward to being in Melbourne. I haven't been there in a hot minute. Melbourne is actually my original home. I grew up in Melbourne, and I do really love the city of Melbourne and the culture and the street art and the amazing food and everything like that. The coffee, my gosh, on that note, I'm going to have a little. Got a long black going right here as we speak. But I mean, other stuff in my life. I've got, a few things coming up that I've kind of lined up now for the later part of the year. Let me have a look here. What's the apps here? If you jump on christhings.com.au/events, you can keep on this. But yeah, in a few weeks at the end of August, we've got the Lucha Fantastica Brisbane show that's taking place at the Eaton's Hill Hotel in the big old ballroom, so that should be fun. Again, bringing the circus-y vibes back to Brisbane, the first Lucha Fantastica show in Brisbane in a hot minute, so I'm excited about that. Then at the end of September, I've got the Brisbane Illustration Fair at the Royal Showgrounds. So that should be a fun new challenge, followed by, I think we've got a great artist market after that, and then finishing up the year with the Oddities and Curiosities Expo in all three major East Coast cities. So I'm going to be busy, but I've got a few things that I'm working away at in the meantime. Got a few projects that I really want to make sure we have ready sooner rather than later. One of those being the calendar for 2026. I can't believe we're saying 2026 just like that, by the way. It's like some weird Blade Runner future dystopian world that we live in. But I'll have another calendar coming out, and I'm also planning on having, this might be a little bit of an announcement here, but I'm planning on having the Match of the Week art book year 2 that I'll hopefully have some details for you in the next little while. I think I'll aim to have that one, so maybe we can get pre-orders happening in come September. I'm very excited about that one, and I really tickled my heart to have someone reach out to me and actually ask about, is there going to be Match of the Week year 2. So that made me so happy. So yeah, I was, again, looking back on that first one, it still blew my mind how much that was supported. I sent out a lot of books in the mail, and yeah, I was shocked. I ended up getting down to the last single one of them. So I've got my copy here, and yeah, I originally was like, man, I don't know how many books I'm just going to have left over, but whatevs. But no, it was super, super cool. So it's really nice to think that I'm able to just self-publish things like that, and to have the wonderful support that I have from all of you guys on it. Really makes me so happy. So I got that, and then on the topic of books, we're getting closer to having that Connections in Joshi book finalized. So for all of our Japanese women's wrestling fans out there, it's the one that I've been super excited to be a part of, with Dan Ball and Shining Wizard Designs. A super cool project from some folks that are super duper passionate about this stuff. And to work with people that are super passionate about things, that kind of makes life worth living. Just connecting over passions in general, I think. So yeah, looking forward to that. And then of course, the Way of the Blade AEW edition is out. I'm still pushing that one in case people aren't aware. We haven't heard a lot about that from AEW per se. I don't know the reasons for that, but it is what it is. But I still think it's an awesome book. I think Phil did such a great job on the write-ups, and especially those interviews, like interviews with John Moxley, interviews with Bryan Danielson, Eddie Kingston. My gosh, I think there's some amazing insight, and this book is really being slept on at the moment. So if that sounds interesting to you, and you also would like to be seeing over 70 original Chris Things illustrations within this book, I've put so many hours into this, guys. Basically quit my job and spent a full month doing nothing but these illustrations, and then some. But I'm very proud of the end result. I haven't got my physical copy of it yet, but hopefully I'll be receiving that soon. And the second I do, I'll be putting up a little video for you guys on it. But yeah, if that sounds like something that's up your alley, check it out on Amazon. Way of the Blade, the AEW edition, the big sequel to the book. And yeah, hopefully we'll maybe be able to have a little chat to Phil about that in the near future. All right, but I think that brings us to about the end of this long rambling introduction. I think we've got a decent length chat with Richard coming up. This might be a bit of a longer episode, so yeah, if you do chop it up and listen to it in chunks, you do it how you want to do it. Okay. Anyway, I think that's it. We're ready. We're ready to jump into our conversation with Richard. All right, over to Richard and Chris on a rainy deck, talking about some matches of the week. Friends, welcome back. We're back on the Match of the Week train here today. We've got 4 matches that I'm very enthused to be talking about. Officially, Match of the Week 90 through 93, and this particular grouping of matches, there is no one in the whole wide world that I would prefer to be discussing them with than the gentleman that I have on the line today. Welcome back to the show, Richard of Video Plant.
Wow, thank you for having me. I'm so excited. Thanks for the intro.
Oh, dude, no problem. Really, I do legitimately mean it when I say these matches have, to me, like your name written all over it. From, our bonding over CMLL at the moment. And CMLL just being so fantastic these days, through a match that I watched because of the hot tip that you gave me of their more recent one in that crazy death match between El Desperado and Jun Kasai. We're talking about their big, incredible epic from 2022 today. Through some New Japan, and then of course, finally, our mutual love of Terry Funk to close it on out. So, honestly, dude, I feel like you were the one that I need to be talking about these with.
Oh, I'm so excited to talk about them. When you presented the lineup of this quartet, I was super excited. So I'm glad it worked out.
Oh, dude, absolutely. It's like I guess before we talk about them individually, if you're talking about a grouping, this really is a grouping that gives just like it's such an eclectic, disparate group of different types of matches, but all wonderful, beautiful matches in their own way.
Absolutely. No, they're very different from each other, but somehow they kind of, I don't know, it's like a fun playlist going through them, and I think I watched them in order of the matches that, like the match of the week order. So it was a fun, as I said, quartet? Is that the right word to describe it?
I'd say so.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's like, it's fun because it's sort of this exact same kind of energy that I normally go for when I do these wrestling club nights at the Scratch, where I'll, just try to put together the most eclectic, like, all great, but like totally different types of great playlist. But I guess, this is also sort of, it sums up the kind of stuff that I love to watch, because the whole concept of Match of the Week is it's just, my favourite match that I got the most joy from in that particular week. So it's funny looking back at like a full month of them like that.
Oh, I bet. I just real quickly, when you do your the wrestling club, Do you try to curate those like kind of like a like a mixtape almost? Is there like
Yeah, for sure. That is the exact vibe that I'm going for. You know, I've said before, you know, same as the old Phil Schneider or Rob Naylor comp tapes that I used to get in the mail back in the day. I tried to just make it so, you know, people will have no idea what's going to be played, and it's a journey from start to finish. So, got this rain coming in pretty hard now.
It's raining hard where you're at. I'm jealous. I take some of that rain.
Hopefully people can still hear my audio over it, but yeah, man, I get a lot of joy putting those playlists together, and I look at it exactly like I'm putting together a comp tape, but then getting to share it with people like in person and like live and see their reactions and everything. It's just it's one of my favorite things I get to do.
Oh, I bet. I wish we had something like that here where I live. To be able to watch it with a group of people sounds like a fun experience. So.
Oh, dude, I wish if we did not live on the opposite sides of the world that you could make it along to these things.
Yeah, if I lived over there, I'd be there, man. I'd be there watching these matches.
Well, maybe at some point we can set something up so we have like a video screen where it's like a video window through to your face, just like it feels like you're there. I'll set you up on the bar. You can be watching it in live time.
Amazing.
Maybe we could make that work one day.
Yeah, I'm sure technology will allow us to do that sooner than later. We'll see.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
yeah, man. But so on to this particular grouping today.
Yeah.
So that we're starting out in Mexico. As mentioned, we've got a tremendous match. It's honestly been probably one of my most favorite CMLL Arena Mexico matches of the entire year so far. I actually watched this in the same week that I watched the big Bandido versus Master of Dorada match that a lot of people had a lot of love for. I remember, you asked me whether I thought that one. And in watching these two, I think I mentioned to you at the time, this one, for a variety of reasons, just I loved so much more than the Dorada versus Bandido match. So this was the finals of the Copa Junior VIP tournament. It was took place on May 30th, the big Friday night El Consejo Arena Mexico show, La Catedral de la Lucha Libre. And yeah, between two guys that I feel probably like the best Rudo and the best Technico in CMLL right now, and two dudes that hopefully will be there many, many years into the future.
Oh, absolutely. I was looking up. They're like, I think Dorada's 23 and Zandokan's like 25. Is that right?
Dude, that is insane.
Really young. Yeah, I know. And I'm with you. I think this is probably my favorite CMLL match this year. It's on my short list of favorite matches. I initially really loved the Bandido and Mystico match. Or was it Bandido? No, it was Bandido and Dorada, wasn't it?
That was the one they did on the Tuesday night
That's right.
Arena Mexico show that was sort of like, this is the one that CMLL put together before the following night being the big AEW show in Arena Mexico, yeah.
Yeah, that was a big week. That week had so many awesome matches. But yeah, this one, I think, like you said, it has the Technico and Rudo element, whereas, the other two guys, you're kind of rooting for both, kind of more of the spectacle of it. But, I've become a really big fan of the Evil Pirate.
Oh, man.
I love his, I'll say this, when I first started watching him, I wasn't big on the whole pirate thing, but I really dig him. I think it's a testament to how good he is, because now I kind of really enjoy that aspect of his. If that makes sense at all.
Oh, dude, absolutely. I guess in some ways, you could be like, oh, this is a bit on the nose kind of thing, but does such a good job with it. I've heard he is related to what's his name? The other pirate of CMLL, the former tag partner of Ultimo Guerrero. What's his name? Name is Ray Bucanero. That's it.
Okay, yeah.
I heard he might be the nephew of Ray Bucanero or whatever, and Bucanero had the big, obviously the Buccaneer, the King Buccaneer. So yeah, I guess that's where a lot of the pirate shtick kind of comes from. But I just love the whole thing. I love the trio of the Galeon Phantasma of him, and oh man, my brain is not working today. Yeah, Defunto and Barboza, is it? Yeah.
I love that trio. I think you kind of introduced me to them. I don't think, I'd seen them, but I really keyed in on that match you shared. I think there's a couple of them that we spoke about, and since then I've been really into them. I go through like periods where I watch a lot of CMLL like on the Friday nights. I think Tuesday nights too, but depending on where things are with work and life, I kind of like I'll go through these phases. But there was a phase where I was just kind of cramming through these, and I've really enjoyed seeing them Defunto on some of the matches as of late. So yeah, it's been cool.
Oh, 100%. And you're pretty on the ball there, because this has really been their breakout year. I think this is the year where it's been their big coming out party. All three of them just doing incredible stuff. Some of those matches that they had against, like Mystico and Neon and Masker Dorada, just the new Sky team. Incredible stuff. I just really love like a great Rudo trio. And I think that's them, but they also do some insane stuff as well in their own right, especially Defunto.
Absolutely. I actually have this weird, being here, I watch quite a bit of AEW, and I would love to see Defunto versus Darby Allin. I think that would be
oh my gosh.
I'd like to just see what those guys would cook up.
Heck yeah. Man, I want to see Darby Allin come to Arena Mexico for that match, please.
On that note, I think I saw like MJF's going to wrestle Xando Khan Jr.
Dude, I'm a little bit dirty on that one, to be honest.
I
was just ranting to my cousin Ben about that. Because MJF just won the belt from Averno, who, as you know, I'm also a big fan of. Probably the best Rudo, veteran Rudo in CMLL. And then now it seems like he's definitely going to be beating Xando Khan Jr. en route to maybe, doing a title match against Mystico on the anniversary show, I'm assuming. And I don't know, man, the idea of Xando Khan losing to a dude like MJF in a match he's probably never going to get that win back, and a guy especially with the upward trajectory of Xando Khan Jr., like especially watching this match, I reckon this match was like his, all right, he is now at the top level kind of thing. This was the one that sort of cemented him. The massive win, the pageantry of it all, the way the crowd was just like, all right, we accept you as the new top guy. It sort of gave me chills a little bit watching it because I got so excited for it. And then, I'm kind of bummed out about the idea of him just, losing to, MJF, especially it's kind of weird one, like Rudo versus Rudo as well. I guess he'll kind of by default be the babyface in that one is the Mexican and Mexican patriotism and everything. But I don't know, man. I just not a big fan of the dynamic of that match, and unless it's surprising everyone and Xando Khan actually beats MJF in this one, I just don't really see the purpose of it.
Yeah, I understand. I kind of share that concern because you don't want momentum to be halted. I think, I can see it now. Like MJF will win, and then Xando Khan will probably get back in the ring, and they'll have a scuffle, and he might kind of come out on top in that way, but he's probably going to lose. And I just hope it's a good match. But I guess in some ways it's also maybe promising that the person that MJF is going to wrestle is him. I guess that's a good sign in terms of, they clearly see something in Zandokan, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be very interesting to see the way they do it because, I guess my biggest concern is, he's finally at that level, and then this is the kind of thing where, could take him down a peg and then be hard for him to get back to where he was in terms of, like, I honestly think he's the top Rudo in CMLL right now. I can't think of anyone better than him in terms of like what he can do in the ring, as well as like getting the kind of reactions that he gets and the crowd just completely embracing him while still having that magical kind of like heat, which is another thing I really love about this match. It's like he did so much cool stuff, but so much classic Rudo stuff that is like, got the boos, got everyone loving Mascara Dorada. It's just like everything just worked so perfectly. This match made me so happy to watch.
Absolutely. I watched it. I watched it when it happened, and then I remember when you mentioned this this match to me initially. I watched it again, and I just watched it over the weekend, and I've seen it 3 times now, and I loved it. It has that kind of growing effect. But yeah, the crowd was awesome, and it kind of there's that part where like they both embrace in the ring, and then Dorada just hits that lariat on him,
yes,
and then it's just off, and then he's like, he's ripping his mask off at that turnbuckle. I really liked how the turnbuckle was like a big part of this match. It built towards the end, There were so many moments that happened on that turnbuckle, or around the corner of the ring, and I thought that was a really kind of fun way to build to an ending. We kind of knew it was gonna go there, if that makes sense.
I really loved like so this was probably the first time I've ever seen in Lucha Libre a guy actually take the turnbuckle pad off. So I mean I'm sure maybe it's happened somewhere before, but I haven't seen it, and it was very novel, for Arena Mexico in this era too. Namely because it felt like it was actually really difficult for him to actually get that turnbuckle pad off. It took so long. But and it was like, it was not like, the gimmicked ones you see where the guys just kind of like pull it off. I really actually enjoyed that. Like almost the amount of time that it took kind of like brought a bit more focus to it. And then obviously it had a bunch of callbacks to it throughout, and a big part of the finish. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, I thought it kind of worked to its advantage, and it gave Dorada time to sell his pain in the middle of the ring. It kind of worked out, but there was a little bit of like, oh wow, this is taking some time, but it felt authentic in that sense. One thing I really liked about this match too is he just manhandled Dorada quite a bit. He was like bashing his head into the turnbuckle. There was that spot where he just totally threw his body against the barricade. Do you remember that? Yes. Awesome. I like Masker Dorada. I'm just saying, he did his job. He really kind of, I guess, manhandled him. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, dude. Just like in that classic sense of like the most basic level of what a Rudo is like. I mean, this is the thing where it's like a lot of people just think, all right, so Rudo is a heel, Technico is a babyface. In terms of my understanding of it, it's more sort of like Technico is a guy who wrestles more of shows more technique in his wrestling. So that's where you'll see a lot more of this sort of like impressive submission work. Or like high flying stuff or whatever. They just show better technique in their wrestling, and that's a big part of the presentation. Whereas a Rudo is in the classic sense more of a roughhouse. So they're about like just using those rough tactics of kicking and punching and slamming the Technico into things. And in that sense, I feel like in this match, it's the most pure Rudo versus Technico dynamic I've seen in a long time, and it's so great.
Absolutely. There's that spot where Zando, I'm going to call him Zando because I hope that's okay, Zando. But he gives him that like wicked choke slam.
Oh, so good.
It's awesome. Yeah, so like he really does just kind of take control of and you know, Dorado's selling it really well, but you know, there's just so many moments. There's like those chops on the apron, but there's also, I'm trying to think, there's when Dorado gets on the top of the like on the top rope and he jumps and he crashes into the barricade.
Yes, because he like moves out of the way.
Yeah, that was awesome. But they do a replay afterwards, like the repetition or whatever, and it looks so painful.
Yeah.
But yeah. I just it was fun to get a mix of the different styles, but also see I don't know, kind of see him get the shit kicked out a little bit. It made it feel like he's gonna come out on top and win, and he doesn't. And I think that's testament to it too. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one.
I thought it was so well done. Like you know, Masker Dorado, I don't think lost anything in losing, and especially the way they did it, I thought made a lot of sense, while, you know, obviously made Xander Khan Jr. like look like $1 million and take him up to that next level. I just thought this was so perfect in so many ways. The only thing I would have preferred to see would if we could have had the 2 out of 3 falls element to it, being the you know, big final of the tournament. They traditionally do these things in single fall, but I think even that, like, I can't complain anything about this. I just thought it was so perfect, and it just had the perfect kind of like good guy versus bad guy pantomime kind of aspect to it, whilst also just having some incredible wrestling, and both guys just looked like the absolute best against one another, like they brought the best out of each other kind of thing, which is why I'm so excited to hopefully see many more matches between these dudes into the future.
Absolutely, they do feel like the two like rising stars. And I hope they can just keep him around very badly. I hope that can, you know, be the case. Or, you know, if they can, they're just so young. So, I'd like to see them continue to do this for a long time as well.
Yeah, man. It makes me, excited about the future of CMLL that you've got.
Yes.
I mean, anytime I think in a territory, you've got two dudes that are like over at a main event level in their early to mid-20s, I think that's such a good sign, and it's so important. And, you know, a lot of time we see in American wrestling, guys don't get to that main event scene till they're like in their mid-30s or later.
Right.
Whereas like a lot of my, you know, real favorite territories, especially like, you know, thinking about places like World Class back in the day and the Von Erichs, you know, at the height of their stardom, that they were around this age kind of thing. And there's something that's just so good in terms of like the audience kind of like getting into guys that are that young. I think it's just a really good sign, and I wish we'd see it in more places. Guys just promotions taking like more of a risk and being like, all right, we're just going to go all in on these dudes because they're clearly so good already. Like, we don't need to keep them around or stretch this out for another like 5 years till they get over. You know, do it now.
I agree, and the crowd was like, it seems like extra loud for this match, right?
And the funny thing with the crowd is, like, I can guarantee you, dude, that in that building, this would have been so much louder than it came across on the YouTube telecast. Like, from you know, my experience of being there, like, it's so loud in person. I just wish they could capture that a little bit more.
Yeah, the audio is a little. I'm a really big fan of the presentation, the colors, and like the production. Like, I do think it's kind of my favorite, if I'm being honest. I really enjoy tuning in, like being able to go on YouTube and watch it. I'm happy to be like pay that subscription.
Same.
But there are times like the match starts and then like they cue the audio and it is a little, you can't always tell how the crowd's reacting. But that's a very minimal, like, that's not like a flaw by any means. Just kind of yeah.
I mean, that's a testament to this, that like even with the sound turned way down, you could tell that crowd is like insanely hot for this.
Yeah, they were really into this match. Real quickly, is it just was there a time when they were like having like a camera drones shots in CML, like where there would be like you see the drone, right?
I remember this.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I always like, one of my favorite classic CMLL shots that I can't recall in a hot minute, that overhead, like over the ring, bird's eye view looking down into the ring. That's one of my favorite shots. I'd like to see more of.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of their presentation and what they do with the camera. In fact, they move it when I was watching it. When I was watching the last time, kind of like taking some notes of my favorite moments. I almost couldn't keep track of which turnbuckle. I was like, okay, so it's this specific one that he's gonna like unbuckle, But the camera does such a good job, From someone who like I'm a like a movie nerd. I like to see how like the production will capture these things, but they do such a good job of moving that camera around that I couldn't even tell, like it wasn't locked in on one specific spot, if that makes sense. So it just makes for a really engaging experience. Yeah, big fan.
I think they do a great job.
Oh, absolutely. But I wanted to ask you about the ending of it, because it's kind of building towards that turnbuckle. He kind of throws Dorada onto that naked turnbuckle. What did you kill it? What did you think of that spot?
Well, I liked as well that they had Xander Khan took the buckle a little bit earlier, but it was a bit less impact of it. He sort of just got sort of charged and his back kind of bumped into it, and he sold it really big. And I thought that was great to sort of like build up the idea that, like this is, it's like they educated the audience through that. And then by the time when, Xander Khan Jr. gave Dorada, I think it was like a buckle bomb, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm looking at the notes, but yeah.
That got like a big reaction, and he sold that massively. And then I loved even more that like he didn't just quickly roll him up off of that kind of thing. It's like then we get the big Tiger Driver finish, and I just thought the finish in this came together just so perfectly. It was like the icing on the cake again, where it's like you have just one of those great finishes that gets the bad guy over, because he in a way he did cheat to win, but also he gets elevated by in that happening, and Dorada not looking any worse for not being on the winning end.
Yeah, I mean near the end there, I think Dorada gives him like a shooting star press.
Yeah, when he kicks out of the shooting star, that was a big moment. Yeah,
at that moment, I thought Dorada was going to win. So, like, it veered back and forth. Yeah, totally. And you're right. Yeah, that he did get that turnbuckle, but it wasn't enough. So yeah, it kind of built to that, and then he kicks out. So yeah, it's just a great match. There's also that spot near the end where Dorada's trying to like hook Xanacon's leg, and he can't. But it just looks so. It's like it's not polished, but it looks like a real struggle to get him pinned. I just was really. I just love how it built to the end, and the tiger bomb on the turnbuckle. I thought it was good. And I agree. He came out. Dorada came out looking great, but it was kind of a breakout match for Xanacon in terms of being like this I guess like next big thing for them.
Big time. I feel like for the Arena Mexico audience, he's sort of like cemented as a real top guy now.
Awesome.
An interesting thing with Arena Mexico is you sort of do have the different elements that make up that audience. So kind of your weekly regulars are probably the biggest kind of ones that I'm talking about in terms of him getting over, with them being kind of the most important. But then, you also have the sort of the tourist kind of crowd, which I feel like his gimmick is perfect because it's so easy for like someone who doesn't even understand wrestling to be like, oh, okay, he's the bad guy pirate, right? And they just react like straight up in kind, and that's so beautiful. And then you also have the other kind of audience that's more like just the big show, money kind of like audience, the crowd that'll, only come when, there's something real, the anniversary shows or the big tentpole events, or when some of the AEW guys are in town. And they're a little bit of a different audience again, but I feel like he is really the top guy, and I hope to see a lot more people, especially like outside of your maniacs like us that really love our CMLL, but to the greater world to have an appreciation of just how awesome Xander Khan Jr. is right now.
Yeah, I mean, you probably enjoyed doing art for him too in that photo. That's a rad one. That moment where like Dorada's looking out the crowd. And, yeah, dude, good shit.
Thanks. Yeah, I was very stoked both Xander Khan Jr. and Maskara Dorada shared that one, which made me very happy.
They did?
Yeah.
Oh,
so I think they dug it as well. But yeah, I wanted to, with that illustration, do something that captures that emotion that we were talking about with the match, of that classic kind of like Rudo Technico dynamic. And I just thought it was so perfect the way that in that exact moment, that exact screen grab that I took as the reference, where, like Dorada is kind of like selling, and that was a big part, that kind of classic Mystico kind of like selling to get the audience behind him, to get the energy to, to come back, and then Xander Khan Jr., just the towering kind of like ominous kind of dude bad guy coming after him kind of deal. It was fun to do, and both guys have such cool like visual distinctive kind of like looks. Very, very fun to draw. I'm assuming I'll probably have quite a few more matches of the week in the future of either of these dudes. Especially Xander Khan Jr. So, thanks, man. It was very fun to do.
Well, that's really cool they shared that. I didn't know that. That's really cool. I love this. I love this drawing, so this illustration.
Thanks, man. All right, so we're up to our next one. We're now up to match of the week number 91. So this being the tremendous death match between El Desperado and Jun Kasai from September 12th, 2022, main event of the Just Tap Out promotion, the Takataichi Despi Mania shows that they were doing at the lovely Yoyogi National Gymnasium number 2 in Yoyogi, Tokyo. I actually got to go to this particular venue on one of my trips to Japan for the finals of that year's Best of the Super Juniors tournament quite a few years ago now, between Kushida and Will Ospreay, I believe it was, in an incredible match. But I love this building, but man, I love this match. This is just something else, a blending of styles, a welcoming of a guy into a new style of match that he just took to like a duck to water. Man, this blew my mind, and I definitely get all the talk of people that were saying this was their match of the year for that year.
Yeah, this match. Well, first of all, that venue, the look of that gymnasium with this style of match is really kind of mesmerizing. Because like you would maybe assume like a darkly lit, just kind of a darkly lit venue, or even with the lighting environment. So it's just really cool to see this match kind of pop
Like you expect to see this kind of match in like a Shinjuku Face or like even like Korakuen Hall or some of these more like grimy, dark kind of venues. But this is like a big, beautiful, brightly lit venue and just so disgusting. Like the level of violence in it. The contrast is so great.
So this was the first time I had seen it since it happened, and I remember when it did happen, there was a lot of buzz online about it. And I had I think I had messaged you about the latest one they did, which I think is
I still haven't seen that yet,
awesome.
but I'm very much looking forward to it.
Well, I don't think you can watch it anymore. I don't think you can watch it anymore on the New Japan. Yeah, because I tried to rewatch it again after I watched this one again.
They did that as the special. You had to pay extra for it as like the pay-per-view tier. Didn't you? Is that the deal?
I guess so.
That's why it sort of expired.
Yeah, I watched it like that next morning or whatever. Because I think they're both very epic, of course. But I don't know. This is a match that really sucks you in. It pulls you in, and which is why I feel like it exceeds the drama exceeds the violence. It builds towards that post-match, moment or I don't know how you describe it, but it kind of transcends what's happening. I don't know if I'm describing it correctly, but I'll just say that like you go through all that crazy shit and then it's kind of this beautiful thing at the end. It's really strange.
Yeah, I think that's the real wonder of it. Again, like that sort of contrast. And also the fact that they're sort of like telling a story through this thing where a lot of the time people look at deathmatch wrestling as something that's so devoid of story and it's just, like that gonzo kind of like, all right, let's just do as much crazy shit as we possibly can. And this definitely had that element to it whilst also telling a beautiful story and, winding back to that previous first match that they had at Korakuen Hall, I think it was, which was their first kind of death match, where when Kasai originally challenged him to the match, I think that's when he gave him the flower, the rose. So then the idea of like him, here as sort of like giving it back to him was, like, I thought really, really cool, weird, wonderful moment.
Yeah, and I thought your drawing of that was cool too, with like the background and all that. Captured that moment well. So a couple of things. My poor wife walked in while I was watching this match, and she's so like, she is like, she's a good sport, but I feel guilty. She's probably like, what the fuck is he watching? She's never, it just, I'm like, this is a weird hobby, but so true story. Yeah, she walked downstairs when I was watching this one, and then she had also walked downstairs when I was watching the latest one, the light tube one, which was really bloody. So anyways, I just had to say, like, wow, I feel bad for her, but yeah. No, I loved, another little side note is Jun Kasai. He kind of looks like a Droog from A Clockwork Orange, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely like a visual motif that he's consciously kind of like borrowed from that. But cool. He's such a... So, and we're talking about, like visually fascinating people. Like, there is no one in the world that looks like Jun Kasai.
No, and he's really charming character, because on one hand he's kind of evil looking, but he's also kind of like, if you're on a quest, he's that person you want to like have on your side as you go through the woods or whatever. He's like the ultimate like. I don't know. He's just a unique character. On that note though. The imagery of Desperado's like white bloody mask flopping around while Jun Kasai's his like purple ponytails flying around. It's so awesome. Oh my god. This match just from the get-go, there's just so many visuals. I have some notes here because it was just kind of spontaneous, but and it's been a little bit, but the beer can spot. That was fucking disgusting in all the best ways.
Yes.
Yeah, you instantly could see the cuts on El Desperado's back. Like after he got up, you could just see all these cuts. That was again, like, for me, I mean, I'm not a huge deathmatch connoisseur, but I definitely have a lot that I'm a big fan of, a lot of these matches, and I've definitely spent time searching a lot of them out. But I still, like, when I saw those beer cans, I kind of cringed, but immediately when he landed on those, it was awesome. So I was a big fan of that. And there was also a really awesome table spot where actually Desperado was looked like he was howling in pain afterwards. That was, the table just snapped in half. I don't know.
Those Japanese tables, dude.
Oh,
so hard.
Decimated, yeah. And then I gotta say that fork table spot is an all-timer. Yeah. The execution of that, like, they land and Jingasai is instantly smiling. Oh, it's just perfect. Just perfect. And Desperado's mask is like just barely hanging onto his head. It's not even covered. It just gives it the imagery of like his head's dangling. It's just awesome. So yeah,
it reminds me a lot of some of those big time LA Park bloody brawl romps that he's had, where he just has the mask just flopping down. He's just sort of like holding the remnants of the mask like in his mouth. It's just such an all-timer visual of the masked dude whose mask has just been ripped to shreds and is just spurting out blood. It's definitely a unique to professional wrestling kind of visual.
It really is. And on that note, that match that's against Santito is one of my favorites. They're just both covered in blood.
The Monterey bloodbath.
Yes, I love that match so much.
And a similar deal to this one where he's like all white, and then the white just becomes red. It's so good.
Oh, and all the times it cuts to Desperado's face, it's just covered in blood, the mask dangling below his chin, just fucking awesome. There's also I hope it's okay, I'm just kind of going through some notes I have down here.
Oh, please.
Jingasai sticks that fork in his head, and he's just in complete bliss, and he's chasing Desperado. He actually gives Desperado a lariat, but I was kind of worried with seeing him run around there with that fork in his head. So moments like that, where like I'm laughing but on the edge of my seat, just so good.
So uncomfortable.
It was uncomfortable, yeah. Actually, and on that note, I think the most uncomfortable moment for me personally was the bed of knives.
Oh,
and Despy lands on his knees. He lands on his fucking knees. Yeah. Oh God.
Dude.
I did have a question in this. I'll probably sound a bit naive on this, but there's a few spots where they bring a board out and there are these it looks like sticks of gum on the board. What is that? Are those like staples or blades? Do you know?
I think they're the razor blades. They've got
razor
the board with the.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, a lot of the time they have the boards that have the sort of foam that they'll have the razor blades inserted into the foam. That's sort of like a classic Big Japan Freedoms kind of staple that I've seen a few times.
Sorry, not that one. They're
okay.
A bigger board with it looks like sticks of gum, and when they touch them, they're instantly in pain. I don't know.
I'm fascinated. I need to go back and rewatch this to get a better idea.
Chris, maybe I was so mesmerized. I'm just I'm just making up these spots in my head, these moments where it's like I'm punishing myself, wanting to see things that aren't there. No, let me know if you do go back and watch it. I'd be curious to know.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto. at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
Also, a couple more notes. There's a rad series of headbutts. I love the headbutts. Those were awesome. And there was I have a note, bloody kissy kiss. There's like, you get a bloody kiss. That was cool. Yeah,
that is the moment for the partner to walk in on, to just be like, what on earth are you watching? Seriously.
You know what's funny though? On that note, we'll get to him later, but she's seen a few of the Zack Sabre Jr. matches, and those are the ones that really gross her out because of how they the bodies. Yeah, because how the bodies are all twisted and manipulated, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, she really gets grossed out by those by his matches. So
it's so interesting, different types of being grossed out from wrestling, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's definitely grossed out by the stuff we're grossed out with. But yeah, dude, this match was awesome. I was so excited when you asked me if I want to chat about it.
It's just so epic, you know? It's also like fascinating to me, a dude like Despy, who is probably the top junior heavyweight in New Japan now. He's I believe he's the current junior heavyweight champion, or he was last I checked. And a guy who's just doing great things over there. And I'm not sure exactly of his contractual status, whether he's technically a freelancer or whether he is a full-time, contracted New Japan talent. But the idea that New Japan is just like, you want to go and do like this crazy deathmatch stuff where
I love it.
Your body is like, he visibly has like scars now, like a lot of these classic deathmatch dudes do. You notice, like, even if he's working like a beautiful technical junior heavyweight match against like a dude like Kosei Fujita, which I absolutely adore those matches as well, by the way. But to see a guy who's able to be so great at these totally different styles of wrestling in that way, man, I'm such a big fan of El Desperado. Are you still there, my dude?
You hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I think this program synced up to my phone. So it's in some weird way. So when I get a message, it interferes. So sorry about that. But doesn't Despy do commentary for New Japan as well?
I believe, yeah. From time to time, I've definitely seen him on commentary.
Okay, yeah. So he's just all over the place. But yeah, he rules. And it's my understanding that there were some pretty like poetic words after this match, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Beautiful stuff. I watched a translation of it, I believe, or something where I saw it with subtitles, and it was such a cool series of moments. And then even the post-match afterwards, where it goes to Jun Kasai in the locker room with like his young daughter while he's just covered in blood. It's just one of the most beautiful, odd visuals I've ever seen.
I wonder what those kids, I mean, they're used to it, but I wonder what's going through their heads. Like when Danielson had that match at Wembley and he's covered in blood, I'm always like, what are the kids thinking right now?
Right. I remember like hearing Danielson say that, he just tells his kids that it's like tomato sauce or ketchup or whatever.
Why not?
But yeah, it's got to be so odd to be the young child of a deathmatch wrestler in that way. Like, it just the weirdest stuff must just be so normalized.
Wow. Well, if you let me know when you see the latest one, because I'd be really curious to know your thoughts on how that one kind of like works with this one. Another just completely mesmerizing experience. But it was a lot of fun to go back and watch this after seeing the latest. So yeah, really, I loved it.
Well, thank you, and I definitely will. And yeah, I'm glad that sort of the latest one and your lofty praise of it kind of got me to go back and be like, all right, I have to do this like rivalry justice and like watch the whole thing and make my way through. And I think it's really cool to watch in that way, to see the story of it told in a multi-part kind of manner. So yeah, dude, I've loved everything so far. I was very late to the party on watching this one, but I'm glad I finally did. Probably will be the same for the next part, but yeah, dude, so good. All right, but now we bring our way to the next match. So we are still in Japan here. We go from Just Tap Out to New Japan. Again, very different style of match. The big Hiroki Goto, Zack Sabre Jr. Main event of New Beginning in Osaka 2025 from February 11th of this year. I guess the biggest part of it was this is Goto's big win. Goto's big finally got to the top of the mountain. And this one, dude, I think I cried during the post-match of this. Like,
amazing.
It just made me so happy to watch. I adore this match. Again, completely different, but just a beautiful, beautiful match.
Yeah, this is definitely on my very short list for match of the year. It's
same.
awesome. And it's one of those, it's 20 minutes or so long, but it doesn't feel short at all. It's like just this perfect experience. I haven't seen the follow-up to this match between, I think they just recently had another one.
Yeah.
But I'd probably just because I'm hanging on this one, because I really do think this is like kind of an all-timer of sorts, just in terms of like the emotion behind it and all that. I'm not like a Hiroki Goto scholar by any means, but I knew I did get a sense going into this that he could win, and there was definitely that energy going into it. Had that epic feel going into it, I'd say.
Oh, 100%. I've been watching Goto for a long time now. I think he is a guy who a while ago kind of got the rep as being, like forever the bridesmaid and not the bride kind of deal, which really was such a cool part of this, and everyone finally getting on board and the crowd just having such a desire to see him, like have that moment. I remember when I first not when I first got in New Japan, but like when I first watched my full G1, maybe around like 2005 or 2010 maybe, and that was the one that I think he won, and it was him and Togi Makabe in the finals, and yeah, I was like, this guy is pretty cool. Like that was an awesome, another real bloody match actually, but yeah, dude, it's like I've seen lots of his ups and downs and his fabulous tag team. I really enjoy him and Yoshihashi. But, dude, this and yeah, the thing going into it, I watched some of that, like some little documentary kind of stuff on New Japan World in the lead up that they did, and sort of him talking about like his father and his kids, and he's just really glib as well, and kind of an interesting kind of sense of humor kind of guy. It makes you really want to, see him get his moment. And, I feel like he had that kind of crowd support, and it was just one of those magical sort of like moments in time that you just can't ever replicate. Like this was sort of one of those moments where I watched this and I was like, oh man, I'll remember that for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it definitely has that like, whoa, kind of like, going in, you got that sense of that. And the crowd really, also another match where the crowd was just so into it at the end especially. And then, of course, when he won, it just was, again, like I didn't cry, I didn't have that emotional connection, but you could clearly see how people would, if that makes sense at all.
Yeah, for sure. And I thought it was just like the perfect opponent for him in Zach. You know, I remember at the time hearing this, and I was like, "Oh man, I can't believe Zach's title reign has come to an end already." But at the same time, I was just like, "All right, this is just perfect. I wouldn't change a thing."
Dude, well, on one note on Zach, I gotta say, sorry if this is silly, but I much prefer this new like theme, the entrance music, than that guitar riff heavy TMDK theme. For this match especially, I hadn't heard that. This newer music. There's kind of like, it's kind of more like, it's like, it's a different, I don't know, it's like, there's a different energy to it. It's not loud and obnoxious. It's more like sinister. And it really, I think, like set the tone for me when I was watching. I was like, oh, when he's walking out, he's all like serious. It just really helped elevate kind of the vibe, if that makes sense at all. And I just, because I don't like that other theme song. But also, for me, he, to me, has always had that, or at least as of late, last few years, that has that vibe of like a 90s action movie villain, Like he would be in like Die Hard or something, you know what I mean? He's just so vicious and cocky. So it was really cool I just enjoyed having him enter the ring with like music that kind of matched that tone. Yeah,
it's funny because I actually really enjoy the TMDK music, like the classic one with the big riff. I think it's a sick song. But I think this one suits Zach a bit more. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like definitely a bit more of a that. I don't know. It just suits Zach's kind of personality in a way.
Yeah. Also, another random side note. There's a giant, thick muscle knot in his back. And my wife wanted me to ask you that if you noticed this, and I'm certain you didn't notice it, but there's a giant knot in the back of his back, apparently. So you watch it again.
Zach or Goto?
Zach. Yeah, there's a big knot back there. I didn't catch it at first, but so anyway, just a little side note on that. But the second time, so when I watched this again for this conversation, I watched it in the English commentary, and they kept referring to as Goto as explosive. And in this match, I think that's a really good way to, like, it's explosive versus, it just, like, Sabre is more technical, of course, and I just love that kind of, like, collision between the two. Really hard-hitting.
Such a great contrast.
Yeah, it's a contrast, and, like, Goto's power demands, like, Sabre to kind of keep up. And so it's just a really hard-hitting match where they just kind of beat the shit out of each other. I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it just lent itself so well to, Zach is just such an incredible wrestler and such an incredible submission wrestler. There's nothing to me that counters that perfectly as much as, like, the explosive power guy who, who just, he just has to use sheer will to get through this stuff, to that moment when he, like, gets to the ropes, dude, like, and the crowd reaction of him reaching the ropes and Zach just looking like stupefied by this, and then him having this surge of adrenaline, of emotion, of sheer power. It just worked off of one another so well. Absolutely, that was like the turning point. It like went up a notch when he's like he's working Goto's right arm, right, and it's like just super gnarly, and Zach's foot's basically in his mouth, and then he escapes. And I mean, I was exhausted after that, but that was fucking awesome. Yeah, and then from there, Goto's just landing all those lariats. And then Zach would catch them occasionally. Just the back and forth between those two contrasting styles was awesome. He'd land one. It just felt so organic too. Like, yes. It felt like, you get those moments where you just kind of like, forget that you're watching a performance.
Yes,
and you
yeah.
just like fall into the magic of the match. And I really did for this, and I think that's as good as professional wrestling gets, when you just get to that full on suspension of disbelief, I guess is what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. No, this match ruled again, and like I said, afterwards it's like, I don't even know if it's 20 minutes long, but it just kind of it goes beyond the time. Just you're in it. It's kind of like it's mesmerizing. I did have one random note. It says, Saves looks cooked after the back-to-back headbutts, but then he traps Goto in some crazy wizardry out with a wicked near fall. Yeah, dude, the ending of this was like, I thought the build-up was just awesome. Yeah. And that first GTR was disgusting. When he left, it was so awesome. I thought that was it, but then he hit that second one. But and then of course the crowd after the epic reaction, just this is a great match. It's an all-timer. Yeah.
I saw it was interesting hearing other people's thoughts on this, and I think for me, this maybe is my match of the year so far. If not, it's like if this or one other one. It's definitely like in contention for it. I read some other stuff of some people saying, oh, maybe this got a bit overrated because it's mainly the moment of Goto winning rather than the match itself. But I couldn't disagree with that more. Like, obviously it was an incredible all-timer of a moment, but I thought the match itself was just like, something else. And for all the reasons that we're saying. So I just thought it was so weird that some people could watch this and be like, oh, the match was like very good, but not like as good as this. But I don't know, man. It's just interesting to see everyone's different perspectives,
Yeah, totally. That's interesting. I think it's a match that like really hangs with you. It sticks around. It's sticking around with me. It kind of reminds me. They're not similar really at all style wise, but the Danielson Sabre match from last year in New Japan in early.
Oh yeah, also an incredible match.
Yeah, it also happened in February, I think. And
I think it was the New Beginnings show as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that ended up being my favorite match of last year. I just thought that it stuck with me all year, even though it was so early on. And I think this match is similar in that way, and even more so because of the dramatic elements that you're talking about, the moment, of course, but also like some of the best matches are about the moment in some ways, if that makes sense. Like your personal connection to it, the emotions, what it makes you feel, I suppose. So, I think it's a great one. Loved it. Also, I love the post-match stuff with the kids in the ring.
Oh my gosh,
awesome!
That was another one that I watched with. I was able to find the version that had the subtitles.
Oh, really?
And dude, I'd highly recommend checking that out. Again, you sort of get a bit of Goto's kind of like glib, dry humor from it, and the crowd really like reacting to that and loving that. But also, just the moment with like him and his kids and like talking about his dad, and this big moment that it was. It just made me really love professional wrestling in the purest kind of way.
I'll definitely check it out. One of the cool things about watching pro wrestling with different languages too is even when you don't fully understand like the dialogue, you can feel the emotion. You know what I mean? It's one of the cool things about it. So, but then I love that you can also go back and watch it with subtitles and actually get the context of what they're saying. So I'll definitely. I'll try to find it with the subtitles.
Yeah, I remember also watching this one. I chose to watch it with the Japanese commentary, and dude, again, that thing that we talk about sometimes, where it's like can't necessarily even understand what they're saying, but like the emotion of the words just carrying through and leading to such a rich experience. Was just all time.
Absolutely. Well, I'm so happy we got to talk about this one. I have like a list tracker that I I think a lot of people have those, and this is on my short list as I call it. So it was really fun to talk about this one, and hear how much you loved it from like the emotional side. Because like I said, I didn't have that, but it's cool that you connected with it that way.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting, like for me, like only having got to watch it just after Goto actually lost the belt back to Zack. I really want to like go and do a proper deep dive of this reign that Goto had with it, because from everything I read, he actually had some amazing defenses of it. Against some of my favourites as well. Really need to track down that one of the defence he had against Yuji Nagata, one of my other like long time New Japan favourites. But yeah, it's a lot of people were just kind of up in arms about when he lost the belt, because his reign actually really turned around business in New Japan. And they were doing noticeably bigger crowds, and I think people are really connecting with this redemption kind of story. Yeah. So it was a bit unfortunate to hear them sort of like cut it off where they did. But then I heard like there was actually an injury that Goto had. I don't know if it was a shoulder or arm thing or something, where he actually was out and wasn't able to do the G1. So I guess that probably makes a bunch of sense as to why they ended it when they did.
Wow. Yeah, it was only a few months then, I guess, right? Like 4 or 5?
I think so. I mean, he got like a quite a good amount of defenses within that amount of time. So, I mean, that might be part of the reason why he, sustained the injury and had to take some time off. But, man, it's that thing I wrote, don't be sad it's over, be happy it happened.
There you go. Well said.
So now we come to our final match of the week that we're discussing here. Match of the week number 93. This was another one that I played during a wrestling club event. Was my official favorite that I played of that night. Two of my all-time favorites, Terry Funk and Bruiser Brody. This one took place on day 11th of All Japan Pro Wrestling's Real World Tag League 82 at the Fukuoka International Center. In some ways, just kind of like a lead up to the Tag League and the match that the Funks would have against Brody and Stan Hansen. But in and of itself, I thought this was just a magical match between two guys that just have such a level of intensity and connection with the Japanese crowd as gaijins. Like, I loved everything about this. And again, I'm probably a bit, less than impartial on this because I love these guys so much. But I just thought this rocked in every way.
It's so awesome. The ear... the ear thing is just incredible. There's such a strangeness to Terry Funk that I adore. He's so unique. Whether he's like crying about his eye or holding his ear and punching Bruiser Brody, it's masterful. But this was fun to watch. I hadn't seen this match. And he passed away like 2 years ago, and I obviously powered through a bunch of matches, but I didn't see this one. I've seen pictures, I think, but this was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, they've had a few matches, a few singles matches, Terry and Brody, that you can go back and watch. And of course their tag stuff against one another. I feel like some of those matches with the Funks against Brody and Hansen are maybe even better than the singles matches, but just so good. I just love the reactions against one another, and like the Terry selling and fire ups, and Brody, the way that he would have like these interesting kind of like reactions to what Terry would do as well. Just fascinating to see the way they'd sort of play off one another.
Yeah, there's that moment where Funk, he's already thrown Brody's thrown the chair against his head, and then he's trying to get back in the ring, and Brody is kicking him in the head, and his body gets stuck between the ropes, and his body is dangling like upward.
Yes.
And it's not at all naturalistic, but it's such a funk moment that hangs and works.
So good.
So awesome. And then Brody just like drives his knee into his head. Yeah, awesome. There's just moments like that. Him holding his ear and punching, just the visual of the blood just dripping, just gushing from his ear is so awesome. It's met. I feel like this is like what you've assembled here is like a quadrilogy of mesmerizing matches. Maybe that's I keep saying mesmerizing, but there was some. It's probably only like 12 minutes long, but there's so much happening. It's awesome. There's a sick pile driver in the middle.
Oh my gosh, I think that might be my favorite pile driver of all time, dude. When that was on at the bar at the Scratch and we were all watching it together.
Oh my god!
Everyone had a big time pop for that vicious pile drivers, and
Incredible.
the fact that like Terry's like like moving his legs around, trying to like struggle out of it.
Oh my
it makes
god!
it so much better.
I love that. So yeah, I definitely like thanks to YouTube, I just kind of like watch that over and over again. I also love when he like throws the entire table onto Brody's back. Like he's not throwing a chair at him; he's throwing the table. What the fuck? But my favorite part is when Terry Funk's like screaming and biting Brody's head. He's like, oh, and he's just gnawing away at his head. It's just fucking awesome. Both hilarious and captivating. Yeah. My God. Yeah. I watched that match again before we started chatting. That's a quick one. I'm going to watch it again. And then of course everything falls apart at the end, but in
the most spectacular eruption of chaos kind of way. Like it's a weird thing. You watch these ones, and I sort of had a previous kind of like idea of like if a match has like outside interference or it has like a screw job finish or whatever, it takes the match down. But when I watch these matches, it's like, if anything, that the eruption of chaos kind of like elevates it in a weird way, especially seeing, Terry like doing his classic throwing chairs around or like just... Man, I just love these, and also like all of the personalities coming in as well. I think in this one we got Stan Hansen and was Jumbo Tsuruta in there for a little bit as well.
I mean, I don't know. I was stuck on Dory Funk.
Oh, so good.
He's
those
in that
fiery European uppercuts.
Yeah. Like, I was gonna say like. I have this. First of all, this match is kind of like a fever dream in a way. It is, and it makes me think of. I grew up like I like watching like the Ultimate Warrior, Randy Savage, WWF stuff. It makes me think like if I was a kid flipping the channel and like something like this had just turned on, the chaos. You know what I mean? Just to see people who don't look like the Ultimate Warrior but look like Dory Funk in a t-shirt with a chair. Like, seeing that with just blood everywhere, streamers flying, would have been just incredible. But of course that didn't happen. But I would have loved it.
It's so fascinating to think about, the level of this stuff in Japan at the time, and it really being so, all over TV, all over like the newspapers. Like a lot of the stuff would be like front page of the sports newspapers. And the idea of this being like telecast in Japan and doing like record ratings, like these guys were as close to like mainstream celebrities as you could think. So yeah, the idea of like a kid just being so used to like a bloody Terry Funk or Bruiser Brody and just be like, oh yeah, that's that, like and that's their connection to professional wrestling. I just think it's so fascinating.
Oh my God. Yeah, I loved it. This was the perfect kind of like perfect topping on this dessert of 4 matches. It was the right amount of timing, and I think I've
Because we had the epics, then this is sort of just like the it doesn't go for too long, just total romp of a match. I think it works great, like as a polar opposite to the others.
It's dessert. This was dessert. Yeah. All right.
On top.
Yeah, it is awesome. And I think when I watch matches when I watch Terry Funk or Bruiser Brody, Abdul the Butcher, a lot of my excitement in watching those is just the aura of those guys.
Yes.
The way they look, the unique things that they each do for whatever they're trying to do with their faces and their bodies. Super. Actually, there's also that spot where he flies off the top rope. Do you remember that? And his body, he just to see this giant gangly dude doing that.
He does a chop as well, doesn't he? He's jumping off the top with this judo chop, which I adore. Brody's weird judo chop.
Yeah, it's moments like that I love to see, and it's not about the execution. How it's not about it being so much this great match as it is a great match, but it's more about just the absurdity happening in the moments in the ring, if that makes sense at all, with those types of wrestlers.
Oh, I agree completely. It reminds me in some ways of it brings me back a bit to, there was a really great Terry Funk Stan Hansen singles match that was a little bit similar to this in some ways, that I had as my match of the week a while back. Again, I think it was a sort of lead up to the tag league of that particular year as well. But yeah, dude, it's just the moments, I think, that I get so attracted to in these kind of matches, and just those little bits of that punch exchange, when Terry made his comeback, and like you're saying, it's the ears all bleeding.
Oh my God.
Doing these short jabs and just so electric, and the crowd is just losing their minds for it. I really, as much as I really do enjoy a lot of Kenny Omega's stuff, and AJ Styles had an incredible run as top gaijin in New Japan, and obviously always love Vader. But I don't think there's ever been a connection that I've ever seen as pure as that between the Japanese fans and Terry Funk, as the gaijin babyface. I just love that dynamic so much.
On that note, kind of with during the pandemic, Funk was one of those guys you're scouring through YouTube or on Twitter. There were just so many moments, promos and match moments to sit through. First, he just really stuck out. Because I think during that time, at least for myself, I just was diving into so much. I was I have time. I'm gonna just dive into this shit. And he's one of those guys. You just see so many of these famous promos and these absurd moments. And he is, he's really unique, and just the way that he, I don't know, what was it, the Jerry Lawler, the empty arena.
Oh man,
there's just so much gold there. My God. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Also, one more note I was gonna say is the Japanese color broadcasts. The colors are so bright, and the blood pops so amazingly on these broadcasts. It almost looks fake. It's genuine blood. It looks like the blood from the those Shaw Brothers kung fu movies. If you've ever seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's paint red, and it's real, of course, but it just looks so awesome on these broadcasts. So it's another little like visual gold. It's another treat to watching these matches that I love. These All Japan.
Oh yeah, and the whole presentation as well with the bright, like red and teal colored ring, like just the colors of it are so instantly recognizable. And I wonder, like, again, from a sort of like video nerd standpoint, a lot of this stuff we're watching is actually in super high quality because they re-released and remastered it. For when they would air these as the All Japan Pro Wrestling Classics series on TV in Japan. So I wonder if maybe when they remastered them, they sort of bumped up that color a little bit. So perhaps that could be part of the reason. But it just looks beautiful to watch. Like I feel so lucky that we have this footage in such high quality.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because while I do have a love for the lo-fi, like multi-generation dubbing quality of tape, because I'm a weirdo, I'm like, oh god, this is
that beautiful nostalgia you get from it. Dude.
This is the 8th generation dubbing and it's bleeding and like the audio shit.
A weird pink across the part of the screen.
Yeah, like I do really enjoy that, but. To your point, when you see these matches in pristine quality, it's captivating. I remember we watched we did a match of the week from a what was that? Excuse me, the match in Mexico.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
the
my god,
match with Gran Hamada. Yeah, so
good. To see that in like HD quality, but to also have that kind of like visual aesthetic of the surroundings of that time period, which is so cool. So we're lucky that we live in a time where we get, I guess, the best of both. We get to see the shitty quality and we get to see the HD quality.
Yeah, I really love this being able to, as a fan of history and of, like wrestling history, to be able to travel back in time to an era that is just so unique and amazing as, early 80s, All Japan, or late 70s, or any of this kind of period. It's just a magical time, and to get to revisit it in such high quality, like it kind of like makes you feel like you're there in a way, and I think that's a big part of the magic of it.
Well, on that note, I was working. I'm working on this Video Plant website, and I was trying to think about my favorite. It's kind of a daunting task, but like, what are my favorite movies of all time? Actually, it was a kind of a nightmare because you realize like, whoa, it's there's too much to choose from. But I realized like, man, the '70s cinema is incredible. There's just so much gold from the '70s. It's like probably my favorite decade of style of movie, and it made me think, oh god, it made me really want to watch more like '70s wrestling. Dive into that.
Dude, I love it so much as a period. I just wish we had more footage from that era, to be honest.
Well, that's why it was kind of cool. Every once in a while, stuff will show up online, and it's just I try to enjoy it as much as I can while it's posted from whoever posts it. But I guess that's probably why I haven't seen too much '70s stuff, because it's probably not as easily available. Is that the case?
I'd say so. I mean, especially if we're talking about American stuff, well, all the promotions in that age, sadly, would just, they either wouldn't film the arena shows at all, or they would just film them and then air the highlights on TV, so you just get a few little moments of the matches, and then they would tape over the film, so the full matches would just be lost. But we do see different bits and pieces where there were some that they would, like some of those amazing Dory Funk Jr. Jack Briscoe matches from Florida that they actually aired the full thing on TV, at least for one episode I remember. Or there's a great few matches that we get from the Houston territory with Paul Bosch, where they re-released some of those recently when the guy who was running NWA before Billy Corgan, they started a video on demand service for some of this archival footage, and the Houston territory was a big part of that. So we've got some great matches from there. which were some really good stuff if you do want to see some, great little excerpts from the 70s, especially a fantastic Harley Race Terry Funk match that I recommend to everyone. But other than that, I reckon if you like 70s stuff, Japan is probably the place to be watching.
Yeah.
Because that's the one where they did the best job of preserving a lot of these big-time, long matches. And they brought out so many amazing, all-time great first belt Hall of Famers from the American scene, whether we're talking about a Jack Briscoe or Dory Funk Jr. or, Ricky Steamboat or Killer Carl Cox or, any of these guys, Mil Mascaras, Destroyer, just some great stuff. So I feel very lucky that we do have a lot of that footage from that era of All Japan.
It's awesome. Well, it makes sense why there's so much from the 80s then, I guess, because people had VCRs to record at that time.
Yeah.
Not so much in the 70s, so...
Yeah, but man, leading on to what would be the next match of the week that I'll be discussing on the next podcast is how amazing it was that we got that Roddy Piper Buzz Sawyer dog collar chain Omni match. That was one that, I thought lost to the sands of time, but was so grateful when I saw that pop up, and my gosh, that even exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, I made sure to watch that right away and like it as well, because I want them to keep doing that. I want them to. They got their vaults have so much, so I'm glad it's encouraging to know that they did that they uploaded it.
Yeah. It blows my mind that they have this stuff, dude, that has never seen the light of day, and they've got it. It makes me wonder, what else have they got?
Oh, God. I have all those Puerto Rican tapes from that territory that was owned by, what's his name?
The Colones?
Yeah.
Carlos Colon?
Yeah.
World Wrestling Council, was that the one?
Yeah. I have all those. Those are all that library is owned by the WWE as well. I didn't know that.
It's so fascinating how that worked. I guess Carlos Colon made a deal with WWE to sell it to them or something.
Well, didn't Gorilla Monsoon own part of that company? Is that how?
I remember hearing something about this. Yeah, maybe.
I think that might be why, but yeah, it's like when I had all those tapes, it's like, oh God, I've got this. I'm so happy to have these. And then I was like, I read that the WWE owned that catalog, that library, and I was so surprised. But it just goes to show they have, they've got a lot. So yeah, hopefully they keep uploading.
For sure. And I'm very excited. I haven't watched it yet, but that Jerry Lawler Randy Savage match from the ICW promotion.
Yeah.
Probably the longest match that exists on film, and there's been some amazing matches from that rivalry they had with Memphis versus the ICW Invaders, the Poffos back in the day. So I'm very excited to make my way to that one as well.
Randy, he's my favorite wrestler. I don't know if you know that. So I was.
Yeah. I did not know that.
Yeah, Macho Man. Though. Yeah, in terms of just who I grew up with and just being true to on that level, I'd have to say him just from the Macho Man Randy Savage, but
so good. A lot of love for Randy Savage. I was just singing the praises of my cousin Ben hadn't actually seen much Randy Savage at all, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, dude, you gotta watch this. You gotta watch the Steamboat match. You gotta I was just so excited with all these recommendations for him. Randy Savage was a special talent.
Absolutely. Have you seen the match with him and Steamboat, where it's a juicer where they're bleeding?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
where's that one from?
I think it's I think it's before they were feuding, leading up to WrestleMania 3. I'll send it to you.
Right. Yeah, please.
I have it in my Randy database, so I'll send you the link. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. But yeah, that's the bummer. Like those early WWF matches from like up to like 84, 85, they bleed a lot. There's some really good stuff in there, but they obviously stopped doing that as much. But yeah. Anyhow,
Talk about that the boot camp match, man.
oh my god, I love that one. That match is
Yeah, so
awesome.
weird that they could be a big time blood territory, and then it's like, oh no, let's get away from the blood, and then it came back various times, and it'd just be like, all right, embrace the blade. Now we're banning the blade. And it's just like so weird. I didn't even know the current state of it.
And neither do I. I don't watch it, but yeah, but every once in a while, if I hear something's good, I'll tune in. But I think the last WWE match I really enjoyed was that Punk
McIntyre one.
That match
Yes,
ruled.
same. Yes,
That was an awesome
absolutely.
match. Yeah.
Officially, my only match of the week of involving current WWE. But dude, I watched that and I was just like, this is everything.
Yeah.
I think that's still my favorite Hell in a Cell match ever.
Nice. Yeah, it's a great match. Like the toolbox. Anyhow, yeah, good stuff.
Here we are with our rambling bit that we
Yeah, sorry.
we can both ramble with the best of them, I feel.
Yeah. I apologize.
No, this is what I love, man.
Okay.
I get super passionate about this stuff, and I have a lot of time with us getting to just nerd out about this thing.
Awesome. Well, I'll try to make a note. I have a couple of matches that I need to send your way to see if you've seen, because I'd be curious to know your thoughts. So I'll be sure
Please.
to do that afterwards.
I'm not sure if I mentioned to you, but a while back I did make it up to that incredible Portland wrestling match that you sent me with Roddy Piper, the tag match. And that blew my mind. I think that definitely would have been my match of the week that week if something else crazy didn't happen. I can't remember what week that was when I watched it, and I was like, man, any normal week, this instantly would have been the match of the week. But, dude, I got so much joy out of that. I'm on a real Roddy Piper kick right now, actually.
Oh, he's the best. He's a local legend here, I'm sure you've seen They Live, yeah?
Oh man, that's another one I was recommending to Ben. I was like, how have you not seen They Live? My favorite wrestling movie of all time.
It is so good. That fight scene is incredible. Oh my god. I was just talking about that with some friends. We were watching the movie Kingpin. Have you seen Kingpin?
I'm not.
Okay.
No.
It's it's like a fun 90s stupid comedy, and I mentioned They Live, and they hadn't seen it. And I was like, what? You haven't seen, there's the famous fight scene? And they had no idea. So I think the next movie night, I might have to suggest They Live to them so they can experience. It's like a 15-minute fight scene, I think.
Heck yeah. Man, maybe I can line up a movie screening wrestling club night one time.
There you go.
We just all watch They Live together. That would be incredible.
There you go. Yeah. It's a classic. Well, dude, I don't want to keep you too long. Thank you
Thank you so much for your time, man. I had a blast. This really brought up my spirits here today. I was a little bit bummed out this morning with my mate David gone back to the UK. So it's honestly been super nice to get to chat and
good.
You brought some real joy to my day, man. So thank you.
Good, dude. Likewise, I've been so busy with work and everything, so I'm so happy that it's good to take a break and enjoy some wrestling and chat about it. So thanks for having me, and looking forward to the next time.
Thank you so much, dude. And can I ask anything on the video plant front that you'd like to plug, or anything coming up that you'd like to plug for our listeners?
Well, yeah, I've been working on the Video Plant website for a little while now, which you know very well about, Chris.
Which I'm so excited about.
There's some.
I've seen some things, and it made my eyes very happy.
Oh yeah. Thanks to you're helping out with some things to kind of bring it to life, of course. But yeah, the website's just going to be. Here's the thing: I basically have this video store, this video museum in my basement. It's like this weird personal art project, and this website's kind of a digital extension of that, and it will just have like just weird little like I might watch a movie and then like have a little blurb about it on the website with and it's kind of like a Rubik's Cube setup. So you go and you click on something, and then not content. I hate that, but like some words about the movie might be there. So yeah, that's still a little ways out. I'm still like doing finishing touches, but when it's ready to go, I'll let you know.
Dude, so excited. I'll definitely be letting everyone know and cool. Shouting it from the rooftops when we do have it there. But yeah, the bits and pieces I've seen so far, dude, I'm beyond excited about sort of the idea of it. Like reminding me of, and I think I've mentioned you in the past, some of these kind of websites of the past that I think the magic of those has been lost to a lot of the more, like template-oriented stuff that everything's built in these days. And the idea of just being able to kind of like wander through a website like you would some sort of like weird artifact museum or a cult video store, right. There's definitely a playful element that I think I can already see how it's going to sort of like come to life. So I'm very enthused about it, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I think you hit on the head. Like in a world with like algorithm-based technology, this is a break from that, where you can just go and see something curated by a person who is into what they're talking about, much like Wrestling Club, right?
Yes.
It's like it's a human being making something to share with others, and so yeah. And again, yeah, like you said, I miss the old websites. The kind of a website that's kind of like an extension of a person, like they used to be that way, if that makes sense. Remember back in the day, like they weren't the template based, corporate backed kind of like template. It's more kind of like some HTML coding and stuff. So anyhow, there's some nerding out ahead.
Yes, that's what I like to hear. Well, stay tuned, everybody. Thank you so much, Richard. Like I said, made me so happy to have this chat today.
Awesome.
And I look forward to having you back on the show in the near future.
Awesome. Looking forward to it, Chris. Thanks so much, and talk to you soon.
Thanks, dude. Later.
Bye.
All right. What a lovely chat. I had a really great time on that one. Thanks again, Richard. I will, of course, keep everyone abreast of all of the updates to the hallowed video plant project and up and coming website. Legit. Everything I've seen of that so far and what Richard's told me just makes me so excited as someone who is a fan of weird physical media. But that brings us to a close. We've had quite a weighty episode today. It's been a fun one. I think this might be one of my favourite episodes we've done so far. And being able to say that at episode 81, I think is a good thing. Blows my mind this thing's still happening, but I'm enjoying it. Hopefully there's some of y'all out there that are enjoying it. If you did, that makes me happy. Thank you for listening. I'd like to also say a big old thank you to the great team at Social Suplex for keeping the lights on, for letting me do this thing, for giving me the platform to do a podcast. Socialsuplex.com, the home to this podcast, as well as a variety of other rad wrestling podcasts, from One Nation Radio to Keeping It Strong Style to All Things Elite, the EW Match Recommendation podcast, Imp's WWE Adventure, the Trish and Sarah podcast, Tunnel Talk, all of the things. Thanks, guys. And again, thank you to anyone who donates. And anyone who supports in any way, if you would like to support my stuff, christhings.com.au is the place to go. You'll find a bunch of art prints, high quality, fancy art prints of these match of the week illustrations that we're discussing here today. You can even just go there and have a bit of a gander, read my write-ups for them, and also, you can also get art prints of my various different paintings, many wrestling art paintings, and all sorts of things, t-shirts, what have yous. But anyway, christhings.com.au is the place to go there. As I mentioned earlier in the show, you can also find me at Instagram at christhings. That's where I probably post the most stuff, stories and whatnot. But yeah, guys, no matter what, please know that I appreciate you all very much. It makes me so happy, when I see you guys like and share the things on Instagram, and especially when you post the little comments and things like that. Honestly makes me so happy and brings me so much joy. And then, when I do have orders come through, it also blows my mind. You can also do commission things. That's what I'm currently busy on. A couple of different commission projects that have been locked into the books. Currently lining up September onwards. So if you do have a commission project that you would like to bring into the world, a Chris Things art of your own, whether that's a illustration of your favorite wrestler, your favorite match, your dog, whatever it might be, let's do it. Looking like that later part of the year, September onwards. Especially if you have any Christmas gifts or anything like that, now might be a good time for us to start talking about that stuff. But I am stoked to be doing what I'm doing. It makes me very happy to get to talk to you guys, even if it is in a one-sided fashion. But I have fun with it. Anyway, I'll guess I'll see you after I'm back from Melbourne this weekend. Hope you guys have an excellent week. And most of all, enjoy! Bye!
I do the hammerlock. Do the hammerlock, you turkey necks. Yeah, do the hammerlock. I do the hammerlock. Everybody's doing it. Do the eye gouge. Yeah, do the eye gouge. Do the eye gouge, you turkey necks. Yeah, do the eye gouge. I do the eye gouge. Everybody's doing it. Okay, you turkey necks. Gather around. Let me show you how to do the crusher.
Life is a workout, and Smoothie King is here to help you power through. Whether you're grinding out bicep curls, or muscling the couch across the living room, crushing morning miles, or sprinting through back-to-back meetings, Smoothie King has fuel to help you maximize your workouts, own your recovery, and elevate your game. Give your body the energy, protein, and power it needs with a lineup of delicious smoothies made to help you conquer your goals. Only at Smoothie King.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.